Hello bitches, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a video about self-care tips for artists or practically anybody, because at the end of the day anyone can follow these pieces of advice that I'm going to offer, but because I am an artist I will just be talking about the things I do specifically that help me stay sane at the end of the day, because I feel like as artists we have a tendency to always be associating our work with our self-worth and self-esteem, and at times when our work does not look the way we feel it should, or we don't like how the work we make turns out, we tend to really criticize ourselves a lot, and oftentimes it's overly critical. Sometimes it gets to the point where it really damages your confidence and self-esteem, and when it comes to that point, that's when you really need to know how to detach yourself from your work, and that is why I'm going to offer these pieces of advice that I do to take care of not just my mind but my body as well, because I feel like when I do these things I not only come back with a fresher mind when I approach my work again, but I definitely come back with a better perspective most of the time as well. So for this first part, I will be talking about things I do for my body and my physical well-being. So one of the things I do normally first thing in the morning after I wake up, normally on weekdays, is I will just get ready. I will get glammed up, I will put on makeup, and I will get dressed in a way that I feel like a little more spiced up than I felt when I initially woke up. It clicks in my mind that, oh, the day is starting, you have things to do, and let's get on it, and you are going to be the best version of yourself. So normally when I put on my makeup, I always listen to a video or a podcast as well, and despite what most people think about getting ready as a very hectic part of your morning, for me it is actually very relaxing, and it is the only time of the day that I personally feel that I can really indulge in myself, because I'm just really pampering myself and listening to things that I feel like inspire me and motivate me to get the day going. And normally when I spend that good 20 to 30 minutes getting ready, it gives me enough time to build enough energy to then feel ready to just release and take on the day. So before I proceed with the rest of this video, I'd like to thank Ana Luisa for collaborating with me on this video. And if you're not sure of who Ana Luisa is an environmentally conscious company that really focuses on sustainability and quality. They create jewelry and accessories that don't come at the earth's expense, and they use 100% recycled gold for their products and recycled materials for their packaging too. Their jewelry also comes from the same jewelers as Tiffany's and Louis Vuitton, so you can feel assured about the quality of their products, as they also offer a complimentary 1-year warranty for every purchase. Honestly, when I was making this video, I was already struggling between choosing to wear either this necklace or this super cute heart necklace that they also sent me, because I feel like horns and hearts are just my thing, but you know, I ultimately decided to wear the horn necklace to honor my character, my persona, and just the whole devil figure that I love to portray in my comics. I felt like this one would be the most appropriate one to wear for this video, but normally I would try to style these types of necklaces with high neck tops or turtlenecks, and because I tend to wear black a lot, I feel like I like to go for that gold and black look with high neck black tops or black turtlenecks with the gold necklace, because I feel like, you know, it gives a very sophisticated yet edgy look. So you can really style it however you want to at the end of the day, but that is just how I would wear these necklaces. Ana Luisa also has an up to 25% off sale on their store for Black Friday, so definitely check the links out below to keep an eye out for that sale. And if you're still struggling to find a gift for your friends or family, definitely consider Ana Luisa, as I myself am already excited to choose between wearing these two for over the holidays. So for those of you, especially artists, who are always sitting at their desk, I think it is very important to remember to exercise. And by exercising, I don't mean you always have to go to the gym and do weightlifting and boot camp and all these intensive exercises. I just feel like the way to get into caring about your body is to find a physical activity that you just genuinely like doing. That's how I got into kickboxing, because like I have to think about the movements I'm making, I have to think about my pose, and when I think about those things, I don't got time to think about art. I would highly suggest you to find a physical exercise that really stimulates you, not just physically, but mentally. And again, it doesn't have to just be boring stuff at the gym, like things like biking, hiking, or just making it a habit to take walks from time to time. Another thing that you should do often before and after you exercise is stretching. And stretching is something that I never really did before, to be honest. That is one thing that I feel really proud of that I started doing between last year and this year, is I really took stretching so seriously, because stretching really helps me de-stress from the day. Every time I stretch, it gets me into the mode where I am actually ready to feel like going to bed or going to sleep. And some of the stretches that I do, for any of you who are interested, is I do a lot of stretches that help me be more flexible in my hips, because in case if you didn't know, a lot of times we as humans, and more particularly women, carry a lot of the stress in your hips. That is where your stress lays, and that is where you will get the most tightness if you don't stretch it out enough. So I do a lot of stretches like the pigeon or leg stretches, because I just feel like as people, we're not really meant to be sitting at our desks all day, and I feel like from sitting at your desk all day, you're just looking at your work all day, and that tends to be a day in the life of someone who works a desk job, and that's also pretty applicable to artists and animators as well. And one of the last things I will suggest for taking care of your body is to, of course, always remember to drink water. I know I hate to sound like a mother, but at the same time, it's true. Sometimes when you drink a lot of things like coffee and teas and sodas, these things are actually dehydrating you more than you think. And as artists, I know a lot of us tend to just work into the night and just drink a lot of either coffee or energy drinks or sugary drinks. And in the daytime, you're still drinking the same thing because you were so tired from the night before. But that is why you have to also remember to just drink a lot of water, because whenever I drink more water, my brain just feels a little bit more refreshed. Like I feel like I don't feel like this dry desert in my mind or in my body, and I hate it when I get crusty lips. But I carry around a 64-ounce growler everywhere I go. If I drink at least 2 of these throughout the day, I know that I got my daily intake of water. And also in my planner, I have a water tracker as well, and it is so satisfying to color in those little water bubbles just to know, like, yes, I did it. If you are struggling to drink more water, that is something I suggest for you to do, is to just, get a very big water container to just know that this is how much you have to drink for this portion of the day, or just have a water tracker so you're held accountable for drinking water throughout that day. So regarding the things that I do for my mind, because when you do art, it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of feeling, you're doing a lot of work with your heart and your brain working together. One thing that I really like to do to, get my mind cleared of any anxieties or insecurities is to just journal. Drawing is more abstract than writing things out, I feel like, because it's like how people say, oh, a painting or a drawing is worth 1,000 words, and sometimes you need to write out those 1,000 words, okay? So that is why I keep a journal around, and I will always write in it either in the morning of the day or the night of the day, because in the morning I feel like sometimes I just have a lot of anxiety going on, and at night it's normally for, just thinking about and reflecting upon all the things that have happened, and if there was anything that made me feel bad throughout the day, this is my time to give it some closure and be like, girl, it's okay, you're gonna start a new day tomorrow, and just like, you'll get over it after you write like 5,000 words about this. And even though I am writing to avoid art or the stresses of art, what it actually is doing is subconsciously helping me make better art the next time I create. So this is kind of like a subset of journaling, or I guess like another part of journaling that I do that I normally do, on the Sunday nights or nights before or the mornings of, and that is planning. I like to plan my tasks out. I like to plan what I'm eating, what I'm doing, and just my future plans. And to a lot of people, thinking about these things can be very overwhelming, which is why I got really overwhelmed by things in the future, was just because I felt like I didn't have a place to write it down. I didn't have a place to externalize them and make them manageable. I feel like when you think about your future or the things that you're about to do for the week, it can get scary when you don't really have a game plan and you're just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna wing it or whatever. And sometimes spontaneity and improvisation can actually help reduce anxiety. But for me, I'm the type of person who's like, I need to know what I'm doing just so I can at least have a game plan of what I'm doing, while also keeping in mind that it's okay if things do not roll out the way I planned them to. Like, I'm not super anal about my plans. It's more of just getting a big picture of my goals and just breaking down a very complex big task into small, tangible, manageable chunks. And for those of you who've always been wondering how I do my comics, it's literally through this process. I just know I'm gonna make a comic about this story, but hey, I will just spend an hour on Monday doing thumbnails. I will spend, maybe 2 hours on Tuesday just doing the line art, 1 hour on Wednesday just coloring it and making the word bubbles. And throughout the course of 3 days, it doesn't seem like it was even that big of a task because it was only a small portion of my everyday things to do. So one of the other things I do, in which I'm pretty sure you've heard from everybody else and their mothers, is just decluttering your room, decluttering your space, and just organizing the things. Like everyone says, your space is kind of like a reflection of your mind. If it's like cluttered and stuff, you're probably more cluttered in your mind, and if it's more cleared in your space, you're probably more cleared in your mind. But I feel like this is not always necessarily true for everyone, because some people tend to be more productive when things are able to be messy. I get it, because sometimes I feel like I do my best work when I kind of get a little bit messy and just allow things to just happen. But sometimes when I'm in a mode where I'm like, I need to refresh, I need to start again, or if I'm entering a new phase or just something that is just like, I need to start over in something, whether if it's a project or a part of my life. And for those of you who are struggling to figure out how to clean up without it taking up too much of your time, one thing that I heard from someone was just take just 8 minutes of your day to just clean up a portion of your room. Like, you don't have to clean up the whole thing. You don't have to be overwhelmed again by this giant task. Just every day, 8 minutes, just clean up one part of your room. So the second to last tip that I have, that I'm pretty sure you've known from many of my videos before, is to really just disconnect yourself from your work. You have to do things that, really set you in a different mode or a different mindset, such as like going out, spending time with your friends or family, or just investing in another hobby that has almost nothing to do with art. Sometimes what I find the most helpful is when I can just spend a whole day with like either my friends or my boyfriend or my family, and I just ask them questions like the whole time, or we ask each other questions the whole time, because it really helps to just tap into other people's mindsets and just remember that not everyone values the same things as you do. And in that aspect, it really helps you just, remember that, oh, art isn't my life. It's not the only thing that matters in this world. Other people have other concerns, just like how I should have other concerns. And I feel like you're not just stepping out and disconnecting yourself from art, but you're also really strengthening this other bubble in your life that you would not have known to strengthen unless you have started doing it. And in terms of hobbies, I highly suggest for you to invest in a hobby that honestly has nothing to do with your job, your work, or anything that has to make you money. I think it's important to just invest in an activity that you can just do by yourself or with other people that just brings you happiness or de-stresses you. And one of the things that I've been starting to do is starting to pick up on my Chinese or Cantonese and Japanese. I started learning these languages in high school, but I felt like because I was so focused on trying to get into animation, I just kind of, forgot about Chinese and Japanese and just learning these languages. And now that I'm older, I kind of like regret that I just made so much progress in learning these languages in the past, and I want to start picking up on it again. And I really just love writing in kanji or practicing Chinese characters, and I feel like it works really well with Japanese because they use a lot of kanji. And that was one of the things that I was like, maybe I should just start picking up on languages again, because it's only gonna, make me more knowledgeable and also de-stresses me from my day-to-day activities. And the last tip I have for artists is ironically to not forget to do art for yourself, because despite the fact that I've just been talking about getting away from art, distracting yourself from art, and just getting it out of your life for a hot second, don't forget to actually make art that just matters to you and again has nothing to do with your project at work. Sometimes art can make us really stressed out and anxious about what we're creating. At the same time, at the end of the day, there was a reason you got into it in the first place, and it was simply because you loved doing it. Always remember to take the time to draw things that really are out of your own self-indulgence. Draw things that you don't give a shit about what other people would think. If you drew this or created this, you have no obligation to share this to the world. You have no obligation to impress anybody with this. That is why you got into this in the first place, and you should not give up on it just because it became your job. So yeah, those are my self-care habits that I do in my everyday life. I hope that this either inspired you, helped you, or gave you some further reinforcement in some of these self-care habits that you can apply to your own life. Just don't forget that, you are more than just your art, you're more than what you make, you are more than just what comes out of your hand at the end of the day. So yeah, don't forget to take care of yourself, and thanks for watching this video. I'll see y'all in the next one, so stay wholesome, bitches.